Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn, Psychic Medium. I'm super happy to have Kevin Chandler here with me today from Kevin's Loving Vibrations. If you guys haven't seen Kevin in action, you're really in for a treat because this guy is amazing. He is truly dialed in, right? So thanks, Kevin, for joining me. There's a lot going on today for us to talk about.
Right, there really is. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed our shows, and I know a lot of the viewers have too. So it's always a good time when we do collabs together.
Our energy is just like boom.
Yeah, it's very in sync. I feel like you're like a giant psychic antenna when I work with you, Susan. Like I just feel super energized, and we're very in sync. And I think just the way that the conversation flows between both of us is very organic, and I don't know. It's like I get a hit, you get a hit. It's like a lot of back and forth, and it's really
so
enjoyable.
good. We were talking before we went live, and I just told Kevin, well, we should just go live and tell everybody, well, Kevin and I have been talking for 20 minutes. We figured everything out. It's all good. Now we're going to leave. We figured it all out. Don't
Well,
worry.
hopefully no issues because I have some storms coming in. So hopefully no issues with that. And you're on vacation right now
I'm
too,
still in
so
mountain. I have
we're
not been
experimenting
alive.
tonight.
So, I mean, you guys just, cross your fingers that the energy holds. Oh, thank
Right.
you, New Hampshire Mountain Dancer. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. But if one of us drops out, we're old hats at this. We'll keep the ball rolling.
Mhm.
And if we both drop out, we'll try to come back. But we're just letting you know. Kevin and I feel a little bit like we're on a little bit on a wire here.
I think it's going to be okay.
I think it's
Kim
okay.
Kim has a good point. She says psychic tennis. It's very much like psychic tennis between me and Susan.
It is. It is. It's awesome. So, and I love it because Kevin will say something and then I'll finish it. Like it is like
Mm,
psychic tennis, right?
yeah.
Like he'll say something I said, and I'll say in November. He'll be like, yeah, or whatever. We don't always agree, and we're not afraid to disagree. We're
Yeah.
adults. Um, we're adults. We can handle it. So let's get to some of your questions. I know that, and thanks everybody for joining me. Appreciate it. And listen, before I do start, we're not simulcasting this on Kevin's channel. If you like him and like his work, check out his channel and subscribe. He's a fantastic Reiki healer. He's a fantastic political reader, great psychic and medium. So check out his channel. It's right there on the screen, Kevin's Loving Vibrations. And I put his email in the description. If you're interested in a reading with him, which 2 thumbs up for me, his email's there. Send him an email and we'll let you know.
Thank you so much, Susan.
You're very welcome. All right. I am not the best host.
Mm.
I didn't bring bread. I didn't bring, cheese. Anyway, besides that, I'm over here thinking I didn't make you a host. You can't see any of the questions. It's like, I'm sorry.
I can see them. I just can't.
I do have vacation brain, I think.
I can see the questions, Susan. I can't star them or click on them, but I can see the chat going.
Okay. Thanks, Kim. And I don't think I can make you a host from this.
Not while we're live. But you know what? Next time we can do this on my channel, and we can simulcast on my channel, and I'll make you a co-host before.
I promise you guys I'll get it together. But I'm kind of doing the vacation slacker. I am working while I'm on vacation, but obviously I'm kind of doing it, half-ass.
So that's how it's supposed to be when we're on vacation, right?
Yes. Audio not equal to each other. Okay, I don't know how to fix it. Am I too loud? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Run K? Tell me if because I have a loud voice. Okay. I'll back my microphone. It's very high tech over here, y'all. Okay. All right. I guess I know you guys have questions about Prigozhin. We can just go ahead and start with that. Oh, yeah. Wednesday starts happening. We were just wondering about this.
Okay.
Whew. All right. Well, we're in the shadow, so we're going to try to sneak this.
I feel like we're going to be good.
We're going to be good because Kevin has amazingly good energy, and he can do this. He can, with his positive energy, lift us up.
We all have good energy. It's a shared space right now. So let's all just set out that intention that Mercury retrograde, we're in the shadows. It's not going to bother us tonight.
It's just not going to bother us. We're going to have an easy Mercury retrograde anyway. Let's just have the intention that we're going to flow with the backwards Mercury retrograde energy. Okay, yeah, I don't even know. Let's start with precaution. I know somebody asked the question about it, but let's just ask. So Kevin and I both got that he is indeed dead. I mean, you have to ask these questions when it comes to Russians because they've been known to do things like this. There were 2 planes. His name was on one of the manifest list on the plane, and the second plane, his name wasn't. So why would he make himself a sitting duck, right? You have to ask all the questions. And I asked my guides at least 5 times. Y'all know I do. And they said, he's dead, Susan.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, you got the same thing?
I got the same thing. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. I think a lot of us were predicting it when the Wagner Group came up into Russia. It didn't feel like he had a lot of time after that. He didn't fall out of a window, but I mean, 20,000 feet up in the air is I guess you don't get much higher than that. So
the highest window in the world.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, and I think that Putin is the one that did this. I don't think Ukraine did it. I think Putin did it. I don't think anybody did it but Putin. Do you also get the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, surprisingly, you would think that this is a big, you might think that this is a big move by Putin, saying, look, everybody, don't mess with me, right? I will eventually hunt you down like a dog. I will eventually avenge any kind of, thing that you do to me. And I think he did do that. And I think he is trying to send a message of strength. But I see him really in a corner. I don't see him in a message this was a desperation move, is what the guides are saying. He was desperate. He had to do something.
Yeah.
And he did it, but he's very limited. He doesn't, I mean, this is a big thing, but in the bigger scheme of things, he's limited. How do you feel about Putin right now? Do you feel like he's feeling like on top of the world, beating his chest, or is he sort of a little shaky in his power?
Yeah, absolutely shaky, and even energetically, it feels very low, very paranoid, very much in that fear vibration. I mean, I agree. I feel like he was involved. I felt like, and if you saw the video too of it coming down, it wasn't like an engine failure where it's going to glide across. It was shot down. Yeah. I mean, it was smoking before it even hit the ground. So, yeah, that's what I was picking up. I feel like he was desperate, like you were saying too. It's almost like him having to use that force because nobody's going to question his power, and nobody's going. He wants to divert anybody from trying that again. So it's a bit of both. I do feel like it's a bit of pumping his chest too to show that, but vibrationally he's very paranoid, very anxious, very fearful, and I think part of him knows the writing on the wall. I had said the last time when they marched the troops through Russia, I felt like when they stopped, I felt like definitely more escalation happening with this, and I feel like this may have been the thing that starts it going into the future with the Wagner Group, because it feels like Russia's really, I've been saying for a while, there's an uprising. They've had enough of Putin, and it does feel like a bit of a revolution, uprise kind of energy in Russia.
I agree. I've been seeing this uprising, and now I'm starting to see the timeline snap kind of into place. So I assumed the uprising would have happened a lot sooner. I really did. I thought it was going to happen like a year ago. And I thought it was going to be around food, not having food, and having these conscripts of these people. And some of that's already happened. Some of it wasn't as bad. They haven't had the terrible food shortages I thought they would have.
Mm.
But what I see happening now is these conscriptions, they're just walking into factories and grabbing people. They're also going into factories and saying, we took those people last month and we're going to take you too. So if I were you, I would sign up right now so that you can get the type of service you want, right? Like, so you don't go straight to the front line, in other words,
Right.
right? And so this is, they got all their people from, Russia is such a huge country, and they got all their people from these rural areas.
Mm.
And now they're starting to get into the cities. And that's where I think you're going to see really robust and organized defiance, more defiance. And then the other thing is that they need money. One thing about the Wagner group and Prigozhin, he brought in money.
Yeah.
He could go to Africa and do his deeds and come back with a bunch of money. And so with him gone, Putin doesn't really have that kind of source of money. This is a desperation move on Putin's behalf. I know he's desperate. I know he's thinking, like you were saying, he's paranoid. When you go into his energy, it's like things, he's not seeing things.
And he's very paranoid about being poisoned too, by the way. He's paranoid of getting a dose of what he's given everybody else.
Yeah, some plutonium tea.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think that this is the beginning of the end of Putin. But I saw a sort of a military type person taking over Russia for a period of time. Is that also what you had seen too?
Yep. I think we agreed upon that in the past. It feels like it's an interim president, maybe for 6 months a year. And with that too, like, I think when Putin's gone, we're going to start to see things die down in Ukraine with the fighting. But I was telling Susan a little bit before we started that it feels like there is a bit of dispute along like the boundaries. So there's a bit of fighting, but it's not like what's going on now. But I think this military leader is going to work on calming things down a little bit. I'll also say, kind of just going into what you were all saying, I was getting some hits too. Not just the everyday people in the cities uprising, but it feels like a lot of that energy is being fed by some of the oligarchs and higher ups because they're all terrified of Putin coming after them too. I mean, you see how many of them falling out first-story windows. So it's like a lot of resources kind of like adding fuel to the fire too.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree with that. I think that the oligarchs, it's about money. Russia's not making any money. They're not making any money. All their bank accounts have gone flat. Their yachts have been, confiscated. They can't travel to the United States. They don't have the cachet that they had before.
Yeah.
Now they're pariahs. So that I definitely see one of the oligarchs kind of teaming up with some sort of military energy to kind of get things flatlined for a while until they can figure out what to do. So I feel like Putin, and I don't understand this, and I think we've talked about this before too, that I always see Putin and Trump connected. Like when one goes down, the other goes down. Like they're somehow energetically connected. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like it's the exact same timing, but it feels like it's close enough. Like we were saying, I felt like spring, and I think it was kind of just like feeling the energy wrong. I felt like things were going to start to die down in Ukraine in the springtime, and with that, Putin's demise this year. But I'm thinking I was picking it up for next year because that really kind of resonates with me now. And I think spring to summer next year, we're going to see the fall of Trump.
Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. Maybe we should switch. I'm trying to look for your questions, and I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm not seeing them right. And they're not like popping off the screen at me for some reason.
Somebody just asked about if we feel like this new COVID strain is going to be really bad. It doesn't feel as bad as what it was.
It doesn't feel as bad. It does not. It doesn't feel like anything like what we went through.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see a little bit of an uptick, mostly in schools, and always New York, because New York is like a place where people come from everywhere. It's
everywhere, right?
Such an international city that you guys tend to get it faster than all the rest of us. But I don't see it being. I just don't see it. Do you? How do you see it?
I agree. I mean, it feels like it does not feel like the past pandemics. It feels like it's a, there's some energy around it. I think that the resources has really gotten a lot better, and I feel like I don't know if I feel like they're working on a vaccine right now for this new strain that will be kind of available when we're getting when it's getting worse. I think we're starting it. It feels like September, October, but it doesn't feel. I'm not seeing all the deaths and everything like we were seeing in the past. Some people are saying that there's a bit of an echo on your end, Susan. I heard a little bit of interference, like when I was talking earlier, where it felt like maybe the speakers, but somebody's saying that the mic's a little echoey.
I'm looking at that right now. Funnily enough, I put echo cancellation on. Um, let's do this. There's only one microphone. Oh, never mind. I see what happened. Hold on just a second. I see the problem. Carry on for a second, dear, and I'll try
Yep.
to.
All right. Well, I know that the debate's going to start here soon, and we can talk about that a little bit. I was picking up. I didn't feel like a whole lot of people were going to even watch the debate. Um, T Barb says we don't think your external microphone is connected.
That's correct.
And since you were messing with it, I can hear you. It doesn't sound so echoey, but the volume feels like it's a bit lower than what it was before.
Okay. Not sure why it's not connecting. Um, let's see.
But I had felt that Trump definitely had a plan. I didn't know if he was going to turn himself in today. I think it's going to be tomorrow. But the Tucker interview and it feels like there's definitely some energies of trying to get people to pay attention to him rather than the debate. So the viewing with the debate didn't feel very very good to me. But I did feel like some of the standouts of the debate, which I don't plan on watching and giving Fox News my view, but I'll watch the clips on the news afterwards. Um, yeah, Linda says she's not watching the debate. Um, but I felt like that Vivek Ramaswamy. I felt like some energy with him getting some momentum. It doesn't feel like it's huge, but definitely energy of people watching him, along with Chris Christie's going to be up there fighting. I feel like everybody's going to be pitted against DeSantis. So I will get joy of watching those clips, of seeing him squirm and struggle during the debate. And I feel like this is kind of where he's kind of he's plateaued and now he's coming down with his support. And Nikki Haley and Tim Scott feel like maybe the adults in the room they're a little bit more respected by some of the viewers, but the rest of them kind of just felt like there was no energy or airtime is what I was picking up.
Boy,
Are
I
you
can't get this microphone to recognize. Is it still echoey?
It sounds better to me now, Susan. It's
Okay.
that like I said, the volume doesn't seem like it's quite as loud, but I can hear you fine. Um,
Okay.
if
Um,
I'm sure people in the chat will let us know if
let us know if you don't mind, because it's just not finding this microphone, even though it's plugged in. Oh, I know what the problem is. Oh my God. Thank God I'm not driving a car doing anything, because I'm telling you guys, this is the problem. Okay, I'll be right back.
Janice says, do you think Putin is trying to send a message to the GOP candidates with the Wagner murders? I don't know about the GOP candidates, Janice. Definitely people in the Wagner group and, um, those with power in Russia. All right. I'll go through some of your questions while Susan's adjusting there. Okay. People are saying no echo now. Okay, cool. Whimsy says Pence is the new RNC darling. Is that true? I don't know. I feel like there's definitely energy. They would a lot of the leadership in the RNC would like somebody like Pence to to rise up in the leadership. I think a lot of them are tired of Trump and definitely see the writing on the wall there. But no, I don't know if I agree. I don't really see a lot of energy coming up with Pence. I'm sorry. I think a lot of people don't like him very much.
Oh,
All
well.
right, Susan's back.
I'm back. All right. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Is that better? I hope that's better. Yeah, I agree. The Republican Party's a nightmare, you guys. It's best just not to even try to make sense of it right now. You guys are looking for who the contender's going to be, and I just keep seeing all these Republicans littering the ground, like they're
Mm,
all, thrown out, run over, backstabbed. Uh, and the ones that like Youngkin that would jump in are thinking, why would I jump in the middle of this?
mm.
I don't want this craziness. I don't want this crazy country right now. Let Biden fix it for 4 more years, and then I'll stroll in when it's all nice and working correctly again. Isn't that what
Well,
Republicans do anyway? Right? They wait till
so
the
interesting you said that. I just brought that up on Tuesday with
did you?
Youngkin. A lot of people were asking. I wanted to see if he was going to jump in the race, and I felt a lot of pressure and people pushing him. Please jump in. We need you. We'll back you. And I definitely feel presidential aspirations with him, and he very well may get the nominee in 2028. I felt like, but
Yes.
I when I asked about him jumping in right now, I got a very firm no.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you said though, by the presidential, or let's say by May or whatever of next year, they may put sufficient pressure on him, but
Mm.
it wouldn't be his idea. He doesn't really want to do it.
Well, of May next year, they're already going to have the primaries, but that kind of goes into what I had been feeling. I felt like it's very plausible that Trump may get the nomination. Now, for me, when I try to focus in on who's going to get the nomination, it feels very murky for me still. I
Yes.
think where the energy sits right now, it very well might be Trump. But what I'm picking up with that is if he got the nomination or got the right amount of delegates to get the nomination, and then something happened with the health or that legal thing that takes him out, I feel chaos around the Republican Party of what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Who are we going to throw in there? So that very well might be.
That's exactly what I see. Mayhem, just mayhem, and
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 I
maybe
felt energy around Tim Scott maybe getting thrown in too.
yeah, oh yeah,
I had a weird gut feeling when he announced.
yeah, yeah. There's going to be a lot between now and say February.
Oh,
I
you're
mean,
right.
just incredible amount of indictments and convictions and just mind blowing.
Right. Get your popcorn ready. It's our
I
look
saw
who's
somebody comment, "I can't eat any more popcorn." Oh, like, yeah, there is that too.
right.
Been eating popcorn for a long time. After this, I'm never going to eat popcorn again. I can tell you that. Forget it. Yeah, I know it's an abomination, but the Republican Party is an abomination. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not, you know, I'm
Let
not.
Trump go down the party with him because we know if Trump's falling, he's taking everybody with him. And honestly, Trump would be the best person I think to get the nomination. Um, because I think that motivates independents. It motivates Democrats to come out and vote. I don't think Joe Biden is the most exciting candidate for a lot of people, and having somebody that's a threat like Trump would really get people out to vote for him.
That's true. That's true. That is very true. Um, so, did you guys talk about this? Do you see if Trump's name will be removed from
Oh
some
yeah,
of
I
the
saw that.
ballots?
I felt energy around it, and I was watching on the news earlier. They were talking about it a little bit. I didn't catch all of it, but I don't know if they would do that. There's definitely talks and energy into it, but I also feel that there's a bit of a fear of, well, if we do this, than these Republican states, which we know that what they're all capable of, they're going to do the same thing with Biden.
That's right. That's right. I think though we'll stop short of that. Honestly, I really do. It seems again like the head, like how Pence said, "I'm not going to join this fake electors thing," and he kind of stopped it. This is kind of what I see: somebody stopping states from taking the name off the ballot. It's like it's some governing board or some person that everybody respects and everybody goes along with it.
There's definitely a hesitation, I think, that stops it. But there's energy in the meantime, kind of talking about it and, well, how would we do this? But I think it's the fear of a lot of the Republican Secretary of States and the really deep red states of doing that as retaliation for it. I don't think that they'd be allowed to do that, but that they would try anything. So.
Oh, they'll try anything. We talked earlier about Prigozhin. Everybody that's joining us, we talked about Prigozhin in the beginning of this live stream. We both believe he really is dead. We both believe that Putin really did it. And we both believe this is going to destabilize Putin. This is sort of the beginning of the end. This is, I think, the first chapter, the first page of the first chapter of his book being done. And it's, you wouldn't think that, but that's what's happening energetically. He's gone too far. He's got too many enemies now. It just takes one. It doesn't take a lot to get rid of him. It just takes one person within physical distance of him to get rid of him. And
I felt a woman.
Did you really?
I did. I felt like there was a woman around him, and maybe it would have to be a woman because I don't think I think that Putin's very misogynistic and wouldn't view a woman as a threat necessarily.
Nice.
But it felt like a woman, maybe with poison.
I love that more than you know. And I loved it. I mean, look at Trump. Look at all the women taking Trump down. It's really just the rise of the divine feminine,
Well, and that kind of correlates to the end for both of them, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's there again. They're connected, and maybe not like you're saying. Like maybe a little bit. There might be a little bit of, but if one goes, the other goes. Is not long.
Yeah, I agree with that. It feels like the timings. I don't know if energetically they're connected. I mean, obviously they've made deals and stuff like that, but I did kind of feel, and I was talking to Susan before we came live, and I've been feeling it for a while. I feel like Putin is in his desperation tries one more thing. It doesn't feel like it's nuclear in Ukraine. I'm not picking that up, but one more big thing, and I felt like it would have happened a little bit sooner, but I do feel a bit of a heaviness in September globally, and I feel like it's in relations to that uprising in Russia, and also I'm feeling water activities too, so it feels like it's storm related. I think crap's going to hit the fan with the Republican Party in September, so it feels a very, very chaotic in September. So
in contrast, how does October feel? Does October feel like it drops off and calms down, or steadies out?
It doesn't feel like it's. I don't know. I get an overwhelming. It feels like a sadness with the energy in September, which feels a little bit different than October. October feels very active to me. It feels like November things calm down a little bit, but there's still activity. And December feels huge. March of next year feels huge. Yes. Those are just some of the months really coming in really strong for me. So
and he's
September, October, December, March.
We probably talked at least 3 months ago, and you kept saying August. And it's like the 4th of July. In August right now. So, so September could be some big last hurrah from Russia. They could be doing something that could really get the ire of the international community. I feel like they could do something just low down and dirty like they do. And then you're feeling like a storm. Was that storm you were feeling in September? Was that in the United States, or was that?
It's world. I see water worldwide, I think. But it feels like in the U.S., I feel like there's a couple storms, like three.
A couple of storms, like three.
Yeah, like three big stuff. Yeah, it feels a bit hard in September.
Yeah, it's a hard. September's hard for the Gulf. So
Hmm.
the Gulf is hot, and
I
but
think that wind shear coming in from like that El Nino isn't blowing it away like it has been for a lot of the summer. So it feels like things really intensifying. Is what I'm kind of picking up.
guys, if you have any questions about that, now's the time to ask before we move on. But I'm feeling. Oh, hey, bathrobe, Danny Shay.
Hey,
Uh,
Danny.
um, it's really interesting because there was a depression that was coming in to the Gulf of Mexico, and it actually hit, like I think, close to Mexico Texas border. But I
Hmm.
kept seeing it hook, and it didn't hook. So I'm wondering if there's a storm that's going to come in to the Gulf and hook back around to
It feels a
perhaps.
little bit more northern in Texas and like Louisiana is what I was feeling.
It feels more northern, like Texas, Louisiana. Yes, that's what
Mhm.
I was getting. It's going to hook around,
Yeah.
even maybe to Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm just now getting. So if I were you guys, well, look, if you live on the Gulf Coast, you know the drill. I don't need to
Yeah.
tell you. It's September. It's hurricane. It's the prime hurricane season for the Gulf Coast. So just keep your eyes peeled. We've had an easy storm season so far, but let's not get caught unaware. Let's
Mm.
be really aware of everything. The
Yeah.
weather's crazy. The way I see the weather is they're like, oh, it's a nothing storm, and then the next day it's like the storm of the century. It's like they can't forget
Mm.
the energy of it. The energy is blowing up really quickly.
When does hurricane season end too? Because I feel like it lasts a little bit longer this year too.
I think it ends November 1st, but yes, they are going later and later, so they keep moving it
I feel
later.
like December there's a big one. Um,
In when? November?
December.
December.
Dragon Rising says, "What about hurricanes in New England?" And I feel like maybe it's similar to, was it Sandy?
I've been getting that energy, you guys. I've been getting that energy as well. It
It
could
could
be,
be the end of November, beginning of December.
yeah,
It feels like it's later than what the typical hurricane season is.
it might not be a hurricane. It could just be some sort of storm
Yeah.
that turns into some big nightmare. Um, yeah. So, yes, that's what we're getting for that. So just keep just be very aware. I keep telling you
Mm.
guys, it doesn't matter what we predict. I want every time you get a warning for anything to take it very seriously.
Yeah.
That means when you go out in your car, make sure you've got gas, make sure you've got, if it's winter, you've got survival, you've got a blanket, you've got water or whatever. Have contingency plans. Do not be lax around
Mm.
the weather. And this goes from here all the way through next year. Do not be lax.
Yeah.
Take,
And it's not, we're not saying it or getting this information from our guides to scare people because I think that's the last thing me and Susan want to do. It's really just, yeah, to bring that awareness in and to take the necessary precautions. So if there's an evacuation orders, to take those seriously and making sure that you're prepared. Um, it's, we all know that these storms have been getting so crazy, and it kind of feels like the world's um, ending. It sometimes it feels like, because it's just so unstable, um, and it's going to continue for a while. So it's just to know what we're picking up, not to be sitting in the fear, but just taking it seriously. And a lot of these storms too, they're very unpredictable. They kind of change, and I do believe in the power of prayer and manifesting and shifting those storms out of our way, or weakening them too. So yeah, it's important not to sit in the fear, but just using the knowledge of what we're picking up to be prepared and to act accordingly.
yes, exactly. And it's not going to be exactly like Sandy or exactly like
Right,
Ian.
exactly.
All these storms are different. It could come on like a lion and end up falling apart. So you know that's also why we don't often prepare, because we believe that it's going to come on like this little nothing, and then we get
Mm,
caught unprepared. So we're just trying to tell you, forewarned is forearmed. Okay, if
yeah.
Kevin is seeing water, then if you guys get a warning about a rain, storm or tropical system, take it seriously.
I think a lot of it too, and I know that Linda Grindle has said something similar to it, but in a lot of the destruction where we've been very divided and separated, it's really meant for a lot of us to come together and get that sense of community and really help people too. Um, and that really rings true to me as well.
Yes. Oof. Okay. And just keep good thoughts. Pray for
Yeah.
everyone. All right. We're gonna maybe move on.
Yeah.
What in the world is that question? So I don't understand this. I'm gonna throw this up because I also got caught up in this, but it's my understanding that Congress passed a debt ceiling that was gonna last through the end of this year into next year.
It's different. It was the debt ceiling. This is what is it? What's it called? It's kind of similar. It's more for like the federal agencies, funding for the federal agencies. Somebody will know the right word in the chat when it comes up.
Okay, let me know, New Hampshire Mountain Dancer, if
Budget.
Budget. It's the budget. It's a new budget funding the government, but that's the debt ceiling. So you're talking about a budget. So are you saying that the budget, that this vote could shut down the government again? Is that what you guys are telling me? Because
I think it's a little bit different. It would shut down the federal agencies and stuff like that. Yeah, it's funding for the government.
That's the government.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel and the energy with this has shifted for me because I felt like it was going to be close, but like we were going to avert.
That's what
I do feel like there's energy now around it. Like these MAGA Republicans really talking about defunding the FBI because of all of these investigations. And I feel like it may be closed for a week or two. It doesn't feel like it's super long. It doesn't feel like it's catastrophic or anything like that. But I do think that the crazies are going to mess with it.
I agree. I got exactly what Kevin got. I got that we would get to the 11th hour and then we would do it. But now, today, I feel like they may. I just got the word furlough. So I guess that would be like furloughing government employees, right? That isn't that, like, you're going to be furloughed for 7 days or 14 days.
And it feels like when it does pass, it's a temporary thing. It feels like it's kind of short. Right. I feel like we might have to deal with this again another time or two before the next election. But, if the Republicans are going to mess with this,
I got March.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at an election year. So.
Yeah, I got March. Yep. Okay.
March. Yeah.
It's not permanent. So this doesn't affect Social Security checks. Is that correct?
I don't believe so. I could be wrong with that.
It just affects our air marshals, how we keep everybody safe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They really are SOBs. Okay. All right. So you've heard it here. I don't think Kevin and I see this getting shut down permanently. There could be a temporary shutdown.
Yeah.
At which point you will for sure be seeing Biden on your screen denouncing it and calling these people un-American. He's real. You're going to see him. What they're telling me right now is you're going to see him be more and more vocal. He's going to be more strident. He's going to be on the podium, just telling people like it is. He's not going to be mincing words anymore.
And it's going to continue to be used too, with campaigning too. So it's not going to be forgotten about. I feel like somebody said if they furloughed that there's no Social Security checks will go out. I don't feel like it doesn't feel like it's weeks and weeks and weeks or months. It feels like it may be a week, 2 at the latest is what I'm feeling.
Barbara Carlin says it won't be effective. Okay.
Okay, I thought it was safe.
Yes. Yeah, Dark
It's the federal employees will not be getting paid. They'll have to keep working, but they won't get paid.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's clear. I'm glad because I was very unclear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Social Security checks are a week late because the federal employees can't print them out, mail them out, whatever, then woe be it onto the Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, all those MAGAs out there get Social Security, and when their check is late, they're going to be calling up Boebert. They're going to be calling up Gates. They're going to be calling these people up, going, "What gives? What's wrong with you?" Right? So, yeah, I don't want you guys to miss a check by a day or 30 minutes. But if the Republicans want to play with fire, they're going to get burned.
Yeah. I remember in the past when the budget didn't get, it took them a couple of weeks over, and people were getting furloughed. I believe Social Security checks were still going out then.
Yeah,
that's not to
direct
that's not to minimize all of the. There's a lot of federal workers that depend on that money, and they still have to work too. So, yeah, it's going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Barbara to the rescue again. Those employees are considered essential, so Social Security will be timely. Thank you, Barbara. All right. Let's keep on keeping on. Let's just grab this question right here.
Can I say something real quick, Susan?
Yeah.
Dr. Janine says Brian Tyler Cohen will stream debate also. So if you, let's not give Fox our viewership. If you're planning on watching the debate, go on his YouTube channel and watch it there.
Brian Tyler Cohen.
I believe so. I've heard of him before.
He's good. Yeah. If you guys don't watch him, he's really good. He's very neutral. You know what I mean? He's not.
I'm sure Midas Touch might too.
Yeah, I'm sure
Midas Touch. A lot of people streaming it. Just don't watch it on Fox.
If you guys want to watch that debate, my God, I'd rather stick a ink pen in my eye or something. But
I'll watch the good clips afterwards when they show it on the news on Morning Joe all day tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Let somebody else pick out the good parts, right?
Right.
And you can watch it. Okay. So Kathy wants to know about Beto O'Rourke. I'm a big fan of Beto. I tried to support him as much as I could in Texas. I have T-shirts. I have yard signs. I gave him money. I don't see him replacing Ted Cruz or Greg Abbott. No, not right now. Right now, I don't see it. Texas politics is really messed up. I mean, I know everybody's messed up, but we're right under Florida. We're really messed up here. There's a lot of payoffs and shenanigans going on with the money. And my guys told me that Beto was not supposed to win because it wasn't safe for him, that he would have been
governor.
For governor.
I have the same thing.
He would have been, and we don't want that. So they kept him safe. They took him out. They put him over here. He lost.
My guys always said senator for Beto.
Too.
Senator.
He's supposed to be.
He will be senator at some point. I don't know if it's him deciding to run right now. He has that free will. At some point, he will be senator. And I do feel a lot of the shenanigans going on in Texas. It feels better come 2024.
Yes.
Now, Florida, there's a lot of stuff going on too, and that still feels a bit iffy for me for 2024. It feels kind of nasty to me still. But Texas does feel a little bit better with that. And who's the Republican in Texas? Oh, Ted Cruz. I see Ted Cruz out.
Okay.
He's out. If he gets in again, which I don't think he will, it's very short lived. He won't be there long. He'll be out one way or another. I'm feeling more energy of him being voted out. That's my prediction there.
Yes, me too. And there's so much dark stuff in Texas we probably don't even want to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's the governor sent more people to California during the
hurricane.
It's just like anyway.
Well, and also too the river with the wire. Yeah. When I saw that, it made me so sick to my stomach. And the first time I read on it, I had to stage after that session because I kept on seeing death with
That's why I keep thinking I don't want to talk about it because it's dark. It's just really,
It's very heavy
It's heavy.
and dark. Yeah.
Barbara, Beto, they didn't want Beto to win. I made a cutting thing across my neck. So if you're just listening to this, you didn't see that. Not made for radio. Yeah, they did. They wanted to keep him safe. That's why, because he is supposed to be a senator. He's like Biden. This is his sole path. But he keeps doing free will stuff, like running for governor when he's not supposed to be governor. I keep seeing that Biden offers him a place in the cabinet somewhere, like agriculture somewhere, just to keep him safe and get him out of Texas, get his kids to go to school in DC, just to keep him like sort of, I'm going to plant you over here. So you'll be safe. You'll be getting, experience. And then when it's time, you'll go back to Texas. But Beto never wants to leave Texas. He's not making the best free will decisions that he could be making. He's psychic.
Yeah, he's obviously. I mean, that's got to be kind of heart-wrenching. And Beto's really the type of person that puts all of his energy into campaigning and really making all of the stops and knocking on doors and all of that. And when you feel all that momentum behind you, and it's hard. I feel like he feels a bit defeated right now. I don't know if I feel it. I still think that it's kind of up in the air if he decides to run in 2024 for the Senate. I could see it, but I am almost feeling more energy around, is it Allred or Allred?
Yeah.
I feel like it may be him, but I do see Beto will be a senator in Texas at some point.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
Who do you think is going to win the debate tonight, Susan?
Chris
I
Christie.
went on my spiel a little bit.
I mean,
does anybody win, really?
I'm just loving Chris Christie. I mean, for one thing, I wish Democrats could talk out both sides of their mouth like Chris Christie can. You cannot put the man down. He's like, the guy says, well, here is Trump saying that you're probably eating right now. What do you got to say to that? And he's like, hey, man, this is what Trump does. Trump goes for the lowest common denominator. He can't say anything smart, so he just comments on my weight. I'm like, damn, that's pretty good. So I love watching Chris Christie because he can just pummel Trump. I mean, just
you know who my guy said really who's a real winner of the debate, because I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be a bit of a what show, but and everybody ganging up on DeSantis. I think Trump is really the winner of the debate because he's not going to be being held accountable to anything.
Yeah, because he's outside of it. He's going to let all them wrestle around in the mud and make each other look bad, and he gets to sit on the sidelines.
Everybody's ganging up on DeSantis. That's the only good thing I think of this debate is the takedown of DeSantis, because he's a pretty nasty guy.
This is the worst. Wow.
I don't know though. I struggle with Chris Christie because I mean, sure, he's got that fiery energy to go against Trump when nobody else will. But he also wanted to be part of his administration. They were buddies for the longest time too. He's still a Republican at heart.
I don't like him. The only reason I'm for him is because he's never going to go anywhere.
Right, exactly.
He's never done anything.
I agree with that 100%.
I can feel 100% behind him because I know he's. So I don't feel like that way with Cheney, because Cheney wants to be president, and she could be president, and she. My guys keep saying formidable opponent, and they got me scared of her. So, but
I think
can feel good about
the future with Liz Cheney, though. It feels like it's maybe her starting to rebuild the Republican Party when it.
Yes, that's right. That's what they've always said. The old cartoons where you have the fuse, and then like you have 100 yards, and Pink Panther, or that's her. She's like, boom.
I feel energy like 2026. So maybe it's in that lead up for the.
Yes. 26, 28. I mean, every election from here on out, there will be a Liz Cheney over there trying to angle her way in some way to VP or to president. She really wants it. And she scares me because if she just came to the middle, some Democrats might be like, well, she was so good about protecting Jan 6. it makes me crazy. It triggers me because she just did what any American should have done. She shouldn't get extra credit just because she's a Republican and she did something that any American should do, right? So anyway, let's move on. I'm telling you.
Well, I don't feel Liz Cheney as president, I'll just say.
I don't.
How does this feel for you, like 2028? Gavin Newsom versus Glenn Youngkin.
Wow, that does feel right.
I think it doesn't feel like it feels like it could change, but there's definitely energy to that.
There's definitely energy. Gavin Newsom, both of them, taking a long view.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I'm not. I think we both agree. Biden's got this. The Democrats have got this in 24. Yeah. It's 26 and 28 that I'm not quite sure about.
Yeah, it feels 2028 feels a little weird. I do still kind of feel like it still may be Democratic, although the Democrat may not hold all three houses in 28, because I feel like there's a lot of progress in the meantime. I'm feeling like that's more likely to go. Like the Democrats would keep their, and then it would be like 2032 was maybe when a Republican gets back in. I feel like it's going to take a couple election cycles for the Republicans to get their stuff together.
Wow.
Because we're just now at the precipice of the shit show coming on. Get ready for it. It's going to be bad, and Trump's going to take the whole Republican Party down with them. Right. It's going to literally implode. They're going to take years and years to rebrand and to get past all the scandals that they're going to be in. So.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. And I feel like there's like an advertisement that comes on and it says brought to you by Gen Z.
Right.
Because Gen Z is not going to play. They don't. If you promise them something and you don't deliver and you don't have a really good, reason for it, they'll just vote you out. They're going to be ruthless.
And it feels like even to the Democratic Party, they'll be ruthless. I see the Democrats doesn't feel like it's imploding like the Republicans, but there's definitely a lot of changes coming in and a lot of younger new leadership coming in. I feel a lot of older Republicans retiring, and it's like the AOC, that kind of wing of the party, that fiery fighting spirit really coming in the Democratic Party. And I think it's going to be a much better party when it happens.
They're progressive. So the Gen Zs are progressive. That's what I'm saying. You're right. If the Democrats have power and they don't do things that really move the needle, Gen Z will throw them out. I mean, they're not going to.
Change is really big for them too.
Yeah.
And as we see these storms continuing to go on, it's going to be a major priority, I think, for most of us. So.
Yeah, and I think people will go with Gen Z. I think people will say, yeah, these are things we want. These are things we deserve. I think healthcare is going to be big on the minds of Gen Z.
Yeah.
Even though they're young, they don't want. They just, to them it all makes sense. Like, why aren't we doing this like they do it in Europe? Like, things just make sense to Gen Z, and they can't understand why we can't do it the same way. So they're going to be kind of big thinkers. So let me throw this up here. Cindy P, how are you, dear? Says, do we see Gretchen Whitmer and Josh Shapiro making a run for president or VP? They're both super Dems with a bright future. Sound like you work for their campaigns, Cindy P.
I don't know. I feel like Josh Shapiro would be really good. I don't know if I feel that for him. I feel more energy around Whitmer, but maybe as a VP. I think Whitmer will try to run for president. It's maybe she's picked as a VP because she wouldn't get the nomination, or not yet. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel president for both of them. I think if Shapiro wanted it, I think he could get it, is what I'm feeling. But no, I don't know. Whitmer could be a VP, I feel.
Thank you, Melissa. Why am I getting senator for Josh Shapiro? Was he a senator before?
No, he was I believe he was attorney general.
Okay, so he could theoretically run for Senate.
Well, he could if he wanted to, yeah. I definitely feel like a long career for Josh Shapiro. He's still pretty young too.
He's young.
Um, I don't know. I think if he's not considering president, I think he could do very well if he decided to do that. Um, yeah, he's a bright shining light in the Democratic Party for sure.
I just
So
don't.
Whitmer
It's not in this next, couple of elections.
for Shapiro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be out there a little ways. So this is an interesting question. Do you see? I know that I've said this a lot, and I don't know what we've talked about.
Mhm.
Do you see? Because I've always seen Kamala Harris being president. I've always
Mhm.
seen her. I've seen
Replacing Biden. I don't
and
think she'll be voted in.
she's not going to be voted in. She's going to step in because he's going to step down. I don't see him being unalived. I don't see him being terminal. I just see some kind of thing that he says, for my respect to the flag of the country, I think it's best if I step down. And then
I
she
almost feel like it's a health issue, but it's not like it's
exactly
depleting, but it's not like it's anything
exactly.
like really
It's
really
like
bad. And him being tired and wanting to finally retire is what I'm feeling.
midterm. Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you see that? Do you see her becoming president still? Does that still feel
I
like
still
it's
feel Kamala becoming president for Biden after his first year or two in, I think.
right?
I've always felt energy. I feel like Pete Buttigieg may be Secretary of State
Oh yeah,
shortly.
we keep talking about this.
And I feel like Kamala may pick Pete Buttigieg as the VP pick.
We've talked about this. That's right. We've talked about
I
this
don't
every
feel Adam Schiff though. He would be great, but I don't feel it.
I like Buttigieg for Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
He would just be probably one of the best Secretary of States we've
I
ever
agree.
had. And I would like him for VP too. So yeah, Adam Schiff. So you don't really see Adam Schiff as vice president. I don't.
Or president.
It's like a block. It's like he's blocked or something. That's interesting. Okay.
I don't even feel him running for that.
That's
I
what
think he'll have success with the Senate. I don't know if he necessarily wants to be president.
Exactly. It's like it's just not an opportunity. It's not open.
And Adam Schiff is brilliant, but he doesn't have that charisma to him, in my opinion. I don't see that. I think he's brilliant. He's so educated and smart. He's definitely a formidable opponent. I wouldn't want to be his enemy, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just that quality I don't see.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. When I try to put him there, he doesn't go. Oh,
and Summer just said too. Adam Schiff said he would never want to run for president. So
well, there you go. There you go. Go to the source. Okay. Perfect. Ted Williams wants to know, do we think Jack Smith will freeze Trump's dollars he's not supposed to use for lawyers?
I see somebody freezing Trump's money, but I don't know. I don't think it's Jack Smith.
I'm going back up to New York. I'm going back up to Tish James or
Tish
Albert
James.
Brad.
And I do see at some point too, Tish James, her case against the Trump org is civil, but I feel a criminal case coming in, and it maybe even the IRS too.
Yes, I agree. 100%. And that's how it goes too. It's like the civil, a criminal, and then the IRS.
I think the criminal and the IRS are at the same time.
The hits are going to come so hard and fast for him. He's not even going to know which way is up. I mean, he's not going to have time to truth out nothing. They're going to be coming at him pretty fast.
I don't even know if he'll be. I don't know if he'll even be alive when it's all said and done.
I don't think so.
But I do see Trump Tower and his kids losing everything.
I do too.
Everything.
And I see them leaving. I see them leaving the country, going to some other country, one of the stand countries. I keep telling y'all, like Uzbekistan, and starting over. Starting over with their syndicate, so to speak. Thank you, moderators. Really appreciate you. And thank you, Bernie Girl and Mary, for donations. If I didn't say thank you, I'm so sorry. And I appreciate you, moderators, doing that for me. Thank you so much. You know what's interesting is the guy said when I was asking about Trump. This is also something weird that they do. I was asking about Trump, and they said 58, and I was like, or 5'8", and I was like, I don't know, I don't think he's 5'8", and
Right.
I don't know what the 5'8" is, and then I finally figured out like 30 minutes later, I'll be 58. I think I'll be 58 in September, and I think that
Mm,
when I'm 58, that's when he crosses over.
okay.
I think that's what they were trying to tell me.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I feel like every time I look at Trump, I get like caution around the health. Like I can
Yeah.
smell it almost. It's just like the health is not right with him. Um, and but it also feels like I pick up a couple different scenarios of how things could go still. Because there is a bit of free will. If Trump decides he wants to start taking care of his health, he doesn't want to eat um, Big Macs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with his Diet Coke. I mean, he could maybe live a little bit longer, um,
Do we
but I
really
also feel like
take your
the
medical
health. But I also feel like a medical facility. I've never felt jail for Trump, but it feels like
advice?
it could be a lockdown medical facility, which we've talked about. I see like glimpses of both of them. So
But I agree with you. He's not going to live to that. We're not going to get to all the cases. He's going to check out
no.
with a docket full of cases that
It
are
feels like he
never.
could prolong the health and the life a little bit if he took it seriously. I don't know what happens first, you know. He's still I don't think very long for this world. I would say
No.
maybe the next year or two tops.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, off grid light worker. Appreciate that. Do you feel like there's a possibility that somebody could off him? Somebody could Epstein him?
I think that people have definitely considered it, but I'm getting no.
All right.
Are you? Well, you're feeling it if you said it.
But I feel it off and on.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
if he's not useful and he's a threat,
Yeah.
then he's a threat. And you see what Putin did to Prigozhin, right? I mean,
Mm,
people that are not useful are threats because Trump knows too much. I've always seen. Well, maybe that's why you get no, because I've always seen Trump going to the DOJ and saying, "Oh my God, you got to help me! You got to help me! You got to help me!
mm,
Got a credible attack on me, and the only reason it didn't happen, blah blah blah." And so you could see some sort of quiet, much more like, "Oh, we've made a deal" kind of thing,
mm.
where Trump goes into that facility that we've seen, but it might be of his own volition for his own
So
protection.
when you feel like somebody taking him out, do you feel like it's from a foreign government when you say threat? Because I've even felt like maybe higher ups in our government with the documents and him being such a high risk with all the
The
information he's
CIA,
sharing,
yeah,
considering it.
absolutely. I mean, and
Hmm.
the way this stuff works is the CIA could be paying off a guy from one country who's paying off a guy from three other countries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that there's no way to trace it back. Yeah, but I definitely see. I mean, I see it would be like in our country that would
Hmm.
say, um, well, and
Yeah.
plus everything works in his favor, right? So if Trump were to die in some kind of weird circumstances, then all the MAGAs would blame the Democrats, and it would cause more chaos, and that's what they want.
Mm,
That's what they want. So whatever they can do to cause division and chaos in our
yeah.
country is what they want. So yeah, I've seen Ivana. I did a video where I saw Ivana. I was just, doing the thing, channeling, and all of a sudden there's Ivana with her little fingernail. So I've seen her even take him out. I got
Mm.
I got the message. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I got the message that is within the purview of her job responsibilities. So if
Mm.
she needed to, she could do that.
Ivana or Ivanka?
I mean, no, Melania,
Oh,
Melania,
Melania. I got. Oh,
Melania.
I can see that.
Ivana. I was reading the chat. Somebody was
Mm.
spelling it wrong,
I
and
can
I was
see that.
spelling it
It does
wrong.
feel like Melania is in there for to keep an eye on
That's
things.
right. She's a
Yeah.
minder. She's his
Hmm.
minder. She wouldn't stay with that man if she didn't have to. For the money.
Yeah. Well, I feel like right now, like I don't feel like they're very close, but I do feel um like I don't feel like she's really around him a lot right now. But it is kind of like that keeping that eye on him, watching him, seeing what he's doing. Um, but I also feel like right now Trump isn't the most useful for like Putin or some of these other people. He's not president right now, so it's not like he can be their puppet anymore. So
But he can divide.
he
He
can
is
divide.
dividing us, and
Hmm.
he's useful in that way because he's even this all these court cases, right? He's dividing Americans as well
Hmm.
with all
Yeah.
this. So yeah, he's not useful in a lot of ways, but he is useful like a little wrecking ball
Mhm.
inside the United States is what I often the visual they show me.
I have a question. I just had two of them come to me. Do you feel like before the next election, any of his court cases being finalized?
Yeah,
What are you picking up? I definitely feel January 6th. I
January
think that will
6th.
be the first one.
Yes, January
It feels
6th.
like a state one could be too. I don't think the Mar-a-Lago documents will be decided by then.
No.
Um, and I don't
It's
know
going to
if
be
Georgia
fun.
will either.
It's going
It
to be
might
fun,
be.
Willis.
You think
Fun
Bonnie?
Willis
Okay.
and Jack Smith are going to be the two that take him out first.
Okay.
And I feel like that could happen way before April of
Mm.
next year. Something could even happen in December. You were picking up in the beginning some big thing in December. I feel like something could happen in December.
I feel like it could be the January 6th, because if he's going to continue to try to, so let's do this case 3 years from now. That judge is not playing with
He
Trump.
moves
She's
it
already
up.
said we'll do it sooner. We'll do it sooner, and I think that she may actually do it.
Yeah, she does it sooner. Thank you, Lois. Yeah, she does it sooner. And that's what that's the thing. Sometimes the guides tell you something and you don't know how this can happen, right? Like, how can this case move so fast? Well,
Mm,
she can keep moving it up. There can
yeah.
be different types of things that she can do. I mean, we see what's happening right now in the other case. Where's the other case? Aileen Cannon. She's just today. Apparently, that judge has blown everybody's minds. She's fighting with the feds. I think she's
Mhm.
going to get disbarred, or
She's
she's
gonna
going to
she's gonna be removed from the case here soon.
get removed. I mean, she's literally just gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crazy.
Yeah. I feel like there may be a delay with Fani, though, is what I was feeling. I felt like there was a state charge and also a federal charge that happens before the next election.
So what
Definitely.
do you think it's going to be? New York? No,
Well, when are they supposed to do New York? Is that supposed to be March or May of next year?
I don't know. I can't keep all his court
I
cases.
know. It could be Fani, but I feel like I don't know. That trial feels like it's a bit longer, and I definitely feel like a delay. She wanted it in April, I think, and maybe it's in the summertime.
Why do I get something with Atlanta in December? Maybe there's something new. Maybe
Mm,
something new. Anything can happen because Trump can incriminate himself in a different way.
yeah. My other question that came to me since we were talking about Atlanta, do you pick up any concern for Atlanta or like the jurors? I
Yeah,
I felt like there may be some violence or attempts of it,
I know.
something. And if there's heavy energy feeling around Atlanta to me.
Yeah, I called Atlanta Ground Zero a long time ago, and I could
Okay.
never figure out why I was calling it Ground Zero. Well, now we know. I mean, because Fani's taken out, Giuliani and Eastman and
Hmm.
Chistro and Trump, and there's how many unindicted co-conspirators that she could
Yeah.
just turn the lights on and indict them too any minute. So I do feel threats around the jurors and the judge and the prosecutors. I do feel threats
I
around
just
them.
heard close call.
I'm sorry,
I just heard close call. I think there's a
close
couple.
call. Right. The thing is, at least Fani has come out and said, and the sheriff and everybody has said, we will take all threats credible. We will investigate
Mm.
them. I
Yeah.
think going to be they're going to be very quick to run down any leads. They're not going to let anybody get bigger than, so like you're saying, I think there's going to be close calls, but I think I don't know. Right now, feels like they're going to be safe.
Mm. There's definitely, I think, plans in the works as we speak.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. And I saw this today and I didn't understand it. A co-defendant has filed for a speedy trial. So you in Georgia, you
Mhm.
can say, I want a speedy trial. Like, I want this trial to go super fast. And apparently it has to, when you ask for that, it has to be tried in the same year that the grand jury was held. So that
Mm.
means that this defendant, and it's one of the, I don't think it's Cheesebro. It's one of those people. He's saying, I want my trial by the end of the year. So that's going to speed up discovery. That's going to speed up everything that's going to help speed up Trump's trial too.
The thing with that, though, is when I was kind of picking up with the Georgia case, I felt like there was delay because I think there's quite a few of them that flip. So
Yeah.
that's 19 of them now. And so I feel like it being dwindled to like 8 or 9. So it feels like a lot of people making deals.
Yes.
So you have all that new discovery. But then also, too, it feels like they split those 8 or 9 people into 2 or 3 groups. So it's like 2 or 3 cases. So
Yes.
that's where it makes it kind of confusing with this co-defendant asking for a speeding trial, because if they want to try them all at the same time, how do you give one person that opportunity and not the other ones?
I don't know, and that could be the game afoot, that they just want to muck it all up and hold Georgia accountable to their own laws.
Yeah.
So if you find 5 other people saying, but see, the thing that when I go into the energy of it, I see Fani Willis saying, I got this. You know what I mean? We've spent 2 years amassing all our information. It's you guys that don't know anything.
Right.
So yeah, you're just going to screw yourself. I don't think you can trip up Fani Willis at this point.
No.
I feel like she is very much, I think she could go to trial next month and still kill it. So,
absolutely.
I don't
and
think
Fani Willis feels like she has it feels like she has like 4 or 5 backup plans. So if this happens, I'm going to do this. This happens, I'm going to do this. If they try to replace me, which I don't think that they're going to be successful at, I have this as a plan. She's very well prepared. She's very much, I think, the mindset of like 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Like, she's very calculating and she plans everything out. If this person does this, I'm going to do this. She's like 10 steps ahead of everybody.
I said exactly the same thing on a video. Exactly the same thing. But she has A through M contingency plans.
Yeah.
And then she's even got a Hail Mary Z contingency plan just in case,
Mm-hmm. She thinks everything through.
She has everything planned.
Every detail. Every little detail. Yep.
Just imagine her packing a suitcase. Just imagine.
I bet you it's super organized.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like all the little containers and they're labeled, and she probably drew boxes on the inside of the suitcase so that she knew where these things go. Don't mess with this woman. I'm telling y'all.
Right.
She'll take all of y'all on, and she doesn't care. She does not care. And it seems also like this is also something that she came here on Earth to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this is her sole contract, her sole job.
What do you feel about Meadows? And there's another one that wants to move it to federal. And do you feel like they're going to show up for their arraignment? Was it Friday at noon?
I just heard no. Yikes.
It's interesting because I asked this on my somebody asked me that on Tuesday, and I felt 2 or 3 of them wouldn't show up in time.
Did you really?
I did, and I feel, as we're talking about it, I feel like it may be Meadows. I don't know who the other one is.
Who are these people? I mean, where are they going to go? Hang down at the IHOP and like drink coffee? I mean, what are you going to do?
They'll find him and they will lock him up.
No, right? It's like I think North Korea is not accepting any more Americans, so don't think about defecting over.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go. Part of this, again, the energy suggests that they just want mayhem, that they want to be arrested. They want that video of being here's an American citizen being
Mhm.
handled because the Democrats are against you know what I mean? So
Trump would
that
love the optics of being arrested, but he wouldn't actually like sitting in a jail cell. He would be miserable.
exactly. Well, he'll get out. He'll get out
Mhm.
fast, but he'll get the video, and
Yeah.
that and that's they've proven that makes them money.
Mhm.
Those videos make them money.
And I think that that's a big concern with actually arresting Trump because we know he would use it as
Yes.
the optics. And if they arrested Trump, the MAGA cult would go ballistic. So and I get what I definitely am for. Part of me really doesn't care. I think he deserves it, obviously, but it's that caution because they know how dangerous that cult is after January 6th.
They're armed to the teeth and they're crazy.
Hmm.
They're crazy, really and truly. And
Yeah.
and and I've warned my people that I've warned them, please be careful. If you've got a MAGA neighbor, if you've got a MAGA
Mm,
family member, be careful because you just
yeah.
don't really know how they're going to act. I don't think they know how they're going to act.
I have a MAGA neighbor that well he's not a neighbor, but he lives in the neighborhood right when you get off the freeway, and he's always changing it up, but always doing the most disgusting like stuff in his yard, like tombstones with people's names on it, and I think for Halloween he had a noose with a skeleton in it with a sign on it. Just disgusting stuff. Yeah, they're crazy.
Y'all need to be careful around this time,
Yeah.
right? With Trump, um, because we've seen that you just 1 minute they're normal crazy, and then the next minute they're doing something just triggered their rage.
Mm, yeah.
So just be careful with each other,
It, it's not these people aren't going to get away with it. So I don't want anybody, like the few people outweighing the many, like Mildred just said. It's just an element of and we've been very patient, but it's still like taking our time with things, not rushing to arrest somebody. Giving Trump or these MAGAs ample time and ample opportunities to settle down with the violence or the rhetoric, um, and letting them kind of like hang themselves is what it is. So
yeah,
we just have to be patient with it. We'll see it play out.
be patient, but don't I don't have stickers on my cars.
Right.
I don't have anything. It bugs me that I have to act like this, but I would rather not have the hassle, right? I'd
Well,
rather not have
and
the
you're in
hassle.
Texas too, right?
I'm in Texas, but even in Colorado, it's
Yeah.
been a lot of red over here. So, I don't want to give anybody an opportunity or a reason to harass me.
Hmm.
So just be careful, guys.
Yeah.
And then Ruthie has a question about this guy, Ramaswamy. I don't see this guy going anywhere. He can be confident all he wants. I don't see him going anywhere. Do you see him?
I think some of the MAGA cult will actually like him. I don't
Really?
think that I see him going up a little bit in popularity. I don't think he'll be the runner up. I I think he's probably at like 7 or 8% right now. He might get up to like 12 or 15%. I feel like there is a chunk of the MAGA people that like him, but I also feel like he would never win the nomination because so many Republicans are so racist
Yeah.
or misogynistic. He would never win on his own. So, but I think there is some like younger MAGA people that like his messaging. So I think actually from this debate, he may grow a little bit in popularity. It feels like he takes some of DeSantis supporters because I think he's gonna lose a lot of traction after this debate.
DeSantis, what do you think about how can you? You're really good at timing. I mean, timing is hard.
It's
None of
hard to
us.
be, and it's not always the best, but on some things, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not 100%. God knows we're much
Right.
better at predicting, but just the timing is difficult. Do you?
And sometimes it's a misinterpretation. Like I may feel spring, but it doesn't mean it's this year. It could be next
I
year.
know, I know, I
So
know.
sometimes it's
They have free will too. They have
mhm.
free will. It's hard for me. We were talking about this earlier, right? What is
Sometimes
the
we
free
can slow
will?
down things or
Trump could get
change the
healthier, but
trajectory. Hmm.
you know. So what do you see about DeSantis? Do you see DeSantis going down before the end of his term?
It's tough. I feel like Florida's tough for a while. I do feel him going down. I don't know if it's. I think it's either at the very end of his term or when his term's up. I feel like it's pretty close. I don't know if I see him being replaced or resigning before his term's up. And I'm sorry to say that, but I just feel like Florida, this is going to get you together because it's going to be tough there.
Yeah, this is going to get you together. I mean, my God, your inflation rate is incredible. You can't get insurance for anything.
All the storms and all the destruction in there.
And the just it's terrible. And then the lack of workers and the lack of the tourism and just a lot hitting Florida.
When's his term up? Is it 2026?
Yeah. Does anybody know when DeSantis's term is over? I don't think. I think it could be longer than 26. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Cindy P. Hate has no home here is about as much as I would put on my yard. That is what I would do. I just wouldn't put a Democrat or a gay flag because those things they're triggers. 26. Everybody says he's to 26.
It might be end of like 2025 or 2026. 2025 or 2026 feels good.
25.
I think that he outlasts Abbott because I feel Abbott will have to leave at some point.
Oh, right.
I feel like there's a lot of changes going on in all the corruption in Texas. It feels like Florida's a little bit longer. I'm sorry to say.
I thought you said the reverse of what you said.
I feel Abbott and them going down like next year. I think maybe next year.
Abbott's days are numbered, and so are all his cronies. You can't just, my God, you can't put saw blades on floats in an international border in the water. That's international. I just don't know how all this is going on. It's just we're finding out that we don't have.
Well, and you have Paxton there too. Paxton there too. Is it Paxton? And I feel like he's the start of the downfall for the GOP in Texas.
Yeah, because he's already been federally indicted, and he refuses to get served. They tried to serve him again, and he drove off. His wife drove him off in the car. I think that's going to be dealt with. And I don't know why when we were talking about that, I saw the Justins in Tennessee, and also the other one. Can't think of her name, but the two Justins that are state reps in
Tennessee, reps, I believe, yes.
And you have been hearing about what's going on there? They are allowing the Proud Boys in the state capitol with guns, but yet the people in the audience have little pieces of paper that says, like whatever, and they're removing them for having a piece of paper like this. But yet these Proud Boys.
Wow, I hadn't heard that. No.
They're following her around. The Justins and the one woman who was, all three of them were under fire, kicked out.
They're protesting the gun violence, right?
They're following her. The Proud Boys follow her to the bathroom. She said the troopers are starting to get really PO'd about it because now she's got state troopers assigned to her because of these armed
and all that. Yeah.
Tennessee, y'all.
Yeah.
3, Gloria Johnson. I love Gloria Johnson. And I love the Justice.
I do feel like there's momentum in the Democratic Party in Tennessee. I don't see Democratic just yet, but it feels like some of the districts and really, I think since this whole incident has happened, like the two Justins and her really getting a lot of young people out. And it feels there's momentum behind it. It's going to take a little while, but
they're just not going to stand for it. One of the things they did was Gloria was saying was they kicked out. They did something before they even voted on it. It wasn't even a voted thing, and they went ahead and kicked out the people. It's just like fascism. It really is. It's like we don't really need to vote on things. We're just going to do it, and it's going to be right. Right.
Well, it's like the same thing here in Ohio. They wanted to change our constitution where you had to
Right.
vote to get 60% because they know that their agenda is not popular.
That's right.
Their anti-abortion agenda is isn't popular. So,
Not popular.
um, you know what? Let them continue to try this. Trying to kick people out because it's just going to piss people off and get them incentivized to vote and vote
It
a lot of
really
these
is. And
corrupt people
organized.
out. Yeah.
More organized, more. I just see more organized, and then going to those college campuses, and I just see this groundswell of anger
Hmm.
coming out. And like you said, the Republican Party's going to just be
It's gonna
blown apart.
it's gonna implode.
It's going to
It's
implode.
gonna be two like factions.
Yes,
You'll have the MAGA cult, the extremists, the crazies, and then you'll have part of the party that is tired of it and knows that it's a loser, probably like Liz Cheney leading this,
yep, yep,
and really working on how do we rebrand and how do we, put order back into our party and structures. Um, and it's going to take them a while to figure out. I actually see those two actually like butting heads, and
yes.
that is why I don't think Republicans are going to do good in the next couple elections.
I saw all of that. I absolutely saw all of that. The Republican Party like splitting into two factions. And then it can't really operate like that,
Hmm.
right? So then we're just going to see who's going to win. Are they going to be able to kick out the MAGAs and then, like you're saying, rebrand? They'll have to do everything from the
I see
beginning.
them eventually getting rid of the MAGAs, but it's going to take a while. And the MAGAs aren't going to go quietly. I'm sure as we all know. So
Like 3 years, four
I
years.
think by like 20, I think like 3 years, like 2026, and maybe even the Republican Party feels like it's better 2028, but it still feels like they're still doing some damage control.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Woof.
Trump is going to be the biggest brown stain to the Republican Party. When he goes down, it's just like the scandal and like the reputation is just going to be abysmal.
Yeah. And the MAGAs aren't going to come out and support this new version of the Republican Party. So they're going to sit it
Mhm.
out. They're going to go away, or they're going to
Yeah.
create their own third, fourth party, whatever it is. And that's really what the Republican Party needs. They need to get rid of these crazy people so that they can start rebuilding. But we'll see.
Mm.
Raven wanted to know about what's happening with McCarthy, MTG, and Lindsey Graham.
Mm.
And then I don't know when we started this. It's been going on for an hour and a half. Maybe we'll shut it down in a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
McCarthy, I see McCarthy out as speaker at some point before the term. I felt that. I felt like it might have been over the whole last like debt ceiling thing, but maybe it's over. Maybe it's over the budget. I do feel like some of the MAGAs really starting to go crazy. We're going to see it now here soon too, where Trump is really going to box the Republican Party, and if you're not going to threaten to dismantle the DOJ and get me out of this trouble, I'm taking you all down. And we're already starting to hear him threaten that.
That's
And
true.
I think McCarthy will probably be one of the first people that gets blamed for all of that and taken out.
He will. Trump will throw each one of them under the train one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And just for the gleefulness of it, if nothing else. Yeah, McCarthy.
MTG, I don't know if she's voted out. She might be voted out because I even think in her district, a lot of people are starting to be turned off by her. A lot of them are starting to think that she's a sellout to the rhinos and to McCarthy. And if she doesn't get voted out, I do feel like she'll be removed because I do feel like with the January 6th stuff, it's going to come in stages and she's probably towards the end of it. But she's got some trouble there. Lindsey Graham, I don't feel jail for Lindsey Graham, although I do feel some legal issues for him. But anytime I pick into Lindsey Graham's brain, it feels like I feel like there's an element of shame around me, like an embarrassment, and it almost feels like isolation. I kind of see him like in a hotel room or like in a dark room with liquor bottles everywhere. It just feels like his career's over. it's like there's a shame, there's a smell to him that nobody wants to touch anymore.
And he discussed himself.
Yeah.
He's mad at himself for having to sell out to Trump or because he was never paid for, I don't think, in the past. And now he is. They have something on him.
Yeah.
And people are like, why would he care if he's outed as being gay? It's not that. It's got to be something criminal, because that's the only thing that would keep these people snapped back into place, right? They don't care if they're embarrassed. These people don't care about being embarrassed, but they do care about going to jail. So whoever it is, probably with an R, that has the information on him that can snap their finger and get him to, do his little dance, that part disgusts him. It disgusts him that that's who he's become, that he's a sellout, that he has no dignity. He disgusts himself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not even just shame of how people view him in that public persona, but it's shame with himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you picking up from McCarthy and MTG? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, not at all. I agree with you. I totally agree with what you were picking up. Here's the last question. Okay. Ginny Thomas, I'm going to try not to be triggered. I'm going to try. I might have to let you handle it because she just literally tells me. Oh, aloha, Maui. Thank you for the donation.
I don't know if I'm the best to read on Ginny, because I think I upset some people in my chat when I read on her, because she has a Karen complex. I think she's like what people say is a Karen, like that entitlement
complex. Yes. I thought you said Karen.
And I have a lot of Karens that are in the community that are very lovely people. So I don't say all Karens, but that complex, that label Karen, I think Ginny is like the epitome of
that. Like that. Yeah.
Ginny Thomas will need to rent more buses for 45. I don't understand what she's saying. Because she paid for the buses for.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, what do you feel about Ginny Thomas? Do you feel like the law is finally going to catch up with her? Do you feel like she's going to put pressure on Clarence to step down?
I almost feel like she might have already tried to put pressure on him to step down, because I feel like she has. I think Clarence is. It might be health that takes Clarence out. I do feel like a lot of stress with all of the, like leaks and all the corruption that he's had going on, and I can see even more of that. So there's pressure there. I do feel like his wife, there's pressure with too, but I don't feel the best about Clarence's health. I do kind of feel like she's like, well, let's just go lay low, because she definitely feels the energy coming up around her. I don't know if I feel jail for Ginny Thomas. I definitely feel investigations, a lot of scrutiny. For me, though, and maybe this is because of his health, and it feels like a bit of a meltdown with her. And not to say that she's a stable person now. So I don't pick that up. I think she's a little cuckoo, but it feels like a huge breakdown is what I'm picking up for her. Like her whole world is kind of
a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Do you think she's going to be hospitalized for that?
Yeah, that's what I kind of feel like. It feels like it's like a huge nervous breakdown. Like her whole world, everything is uprooted, everything is upended. Yeah, it doesn't feel good with her.
When you're talking, I'm thinking, I'm not sure this woman could pass a psych evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a year ago, I don't think she could have passed a psych evaluation.
Right.
I mean, seriously, some of the things she says, some of the things that we've seen her say, right? It's like, you better not need to answer questions, because it's not going to go well. Okay, so that's interesting.
I feel like with the breakdown, her energy feels like it's almost very manic too. Like
yeah, and paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
Super paranoid. But you don't understand. I saw the people looking in our windows. Sure, you did, Jenny. Take them
right.
Yeah,
it could be hospitalization. definitely probably maybe like a psych evaluation too, I think.
But see, that'll give her compassion. Then the media will say, "Oh, it's been so hard on Clarence and Jenny," and then she'll be able to spin it with a compassionate. Sadly,
Well,
I
do you
mean,
feel like if something happened with Clarence and his health and he wasn't there, that that might contribute to the breakdown? All of the money, everything that they have, all of that being uprooted. It feels like her whole life is kind of upended, is what I feel.
oh, are so you're saying this could happen after Clarence? Well, I was gonna say flies with the angels, but the guide said swims with the fishes.
Right? And
Jake,
and
I think that
and it's
how
very
you
hard. I'm not wishing that or
No, we're
putting
not.
that kind of
I'm
energy out there, but I do definitely I get really strong health concerns with Clarence
which I do
Jones
too,
too.
and I have, but like Donald Trump, he continues to continue like the Energizer Bunny, even though everything about his health, like warning bells, are going off all over the
Yeah,
place, right? But they're still here. Um, Very interesting. So that's very interesting about Jenny having a breakdown and potentially around Thomas not being here. That all checks with me. That all checks.
okay.
Um, so really, just briefly, because I do want to just say I know we have viewers in Hawaii. My heart goes
Yeah,
out to you. If you know if you need anything, obviously you can reach out to us readers. Um, the question was: Secret Service has been busted working with the Oath Keepers and other traders via emails and text. Will they be immediately fired? Worried about Dems under their protection. Yeah, the Secret Service is getting round up. I hear the words we're rounding
hmm
them up. They're not going to escape. Um, there might be some that check out.
I think even some people in the FBI too.
Yes,
It's
yes.
like it's both of them. It feels like a bit of like a cleansing and like cutting out the cancer of those departments is what I'm feeling.
Yes, yes. And Biden is all aware of all of this. There's a cleansing, like you're saying.
Mm,
He the DOJ, everybody has got their marching orders. We need to cleanse this. We need to get in and find the rot, like you're saying. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I think they are going to be protected because I get the sense that they're being watched, and any plans that they may have will be foiled before they have action. Um,
Mm,
there are other entities, the ATF, I'm hearing, but other entities that are watching these people. And it's just like you said earlier, too, Kevin, they're going to catch these things before they have a chance to do anything.
hmm
They are planning it, but we don't think they're really going to get much action, much
There might
traction.
be some, but like a couple that breaks through. But I think overall, um, they're watching a lot of like the security and for everything. It feels like there's maybe a crazy or two that they get their plan through, um, but a lot of them are being unfoiled. Most of them.
And there are a lot of plans. I mean, there
Yeah.
might be 100 plans and two get through. So I think it helps to put it in that kind of perspective too. It's not like there's 5 plans and two get through. There's dozens of plans, and
Right.
of those dozens and dozens, two get through,
Right.
which is
I agree.
too many. But overall, I think Biden and all of these agencies have been doing a great job of
hmm
foiling these things before we even hear about it.
I agree, 100%.
Wow. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in
You've done
tonight,
good.
everybody. Really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Take really good care of yourselves. Thank you, Kevin, for doing this with me. You guys, hopefully you know Kevin's Loving Vibrations. If you don't know, you're missing out big time. Check out his channel, Kevin's Loving Vibrations, on YouTube. In the description, I put his email where you can email him and ask him about his readings. He does psychic, medium, and Reiki, right?
Yeah. I do yep, I do all three. Really with the Reiki though too, I get some information and sometimes it ends up being a little bit stronger too, especially with the mediumship. when you're in that kind of trance state and you're getting a lot of loved ones kind of assisting with the healing. And I do a little bit of the combo too, if anybody's interested in like a healing and guidance package or like messages from your spirit guides and doing kind of that spiritual work and what you need to know and where you're at in your path, but also like the healing and letting go of those things that aren't serving you. So I offer that as well. And I'll just say thank you for the plug, Susan. If you could, please make sure that you go over to my channel and subscribe if you haven't. Every 1,000 subscribers, I give a free reading and a free Reiki session. So I'm a little bit away from 9,000 subscribers. So
Ooh, let's get them over the top.
I would appreciate any help to help me to get to that.
Let's get them over the top. And you know what I want to see too is, Reiki's not just for like, oh, I've got a shoulder, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's your energy, folks. It's your chi. So if your energy is flowing robustly through your body, all of your body is happy. But not only that, your vibration is happy. And if your vibration is happy, you're attracting abundance. You're attracting good things to you. So think about Reiki as an energy tune-up that then has benefits throughout your whole life. So I think some people don't do Reiki because they think, well, I don't have any health problems. Well, I promise you, probably some of your chakras, it's just being human, folks. And God knows through Trump, our chakras are kind of like, kind of rolling down the road, like with a flat tire, So Kevin can help with that. So consider that. And
it's not even just physical healing, like you said. It's really emotional, mental, anything spiritually going on. And Reiki can help with anything with that chi, like you said, animals, plants, anything that has a vibration. I kind of think of it as, our bodies are very powerful. We have that flowing energy through us, through the chakra spaces. And sometimes, through traumas or, having lower vibrational thinking, we can sometimes put energetic blocks up. So the goal with the Reiki is to kind of open up everything, get that energy flowing, and promote the body's ability to self-heal. And with that too, even if it's not physical healing, you're going to feel a lot more balanced and relaxed after a session. So
yes. How do you know if a person is a real Reiki master? This person has a question about that.
I have certificates in my office from my teacher. So I would just say if you feel like you're questioning if somebody's a real Reiki master, that's probably your intuition saying that it's probably, maybe they are, but maybe it's not a good fit if you feel like you're questioning it. I would just go in with your vibe. It's the same thing when you're picking out a reader. Get a reading with those that you feel like you really vibe with and where you feel like your energy is compatible with.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And thank you, Marie Olga. Thank you, Sean Muller. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much, Kevin. We'll do it again, hopefully soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
Starting to really pop. Really pop. So we all want to chat about it, see what's going on.
We'll have a lot to read on, so.
We'll have a lot to read on.
There's a lot coming up. And I think I was reading a lot of the kind comments in the chat. Oh. I don't know if me or Susan both have the commitment for a weekly show. That feels a little hard, but I would definitely love, some kind of something regular, monthly or every other monthly if we could keep up with
monthly. Maybe we can do monthly. That would
be
always
awesome. A great time.
Yeah, we always vibe together, and I was doing a lot of traveling, and I had to put this off a whole month or something. So, but yeah, thank you for that comments, guys. I'm glad you guys like us together. Check out Kevin's Loving Vibrations on YouTube as well, and subscribe. Help him get over that hump. And you guys all take really good care of yourselves. That's the most important thing. Take really, really good care of yourselves. Okay. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Blessings.